Joining us now to discuss the impact global volatility is having on the markets, Erik Knutzen, CIO at Neuberger Berman. Erik, let's do this. It's episodic. We have you on from time to time. They're not all distinct appearances. And the last 3-4 times you've been on, have you evolved in your view of what investors should be doing now?
Absolutely. We came into this year with a strong risk-on bias, long equities kind of globally, large, small, U.S., non-U.S., EM, commodities, credit, in reaction to what we thought was the market kind of going too far in the sell-off in the fourth quarter, that we were not expecting recession in 2019. We were expecting soft landing, catalyzed by the Fed moving to much more dovish monetary policy, strong stimulus in China. We've been dialing back that risk exposure as the year has gone on, as markets have rallied, and by the end of June, coming into the third quarter, we really went to neutral at the overall kind of market beta or market exposure level, focusing on areas where we saw good value, but not wanting to take significant directional risk. The S&P was up by that point about 20%, over 17 times forward earnings. We felt valuations fully and probably more than reflected good news that could come out. We wanted to see better earnings. We wanted to see resolution of a lot of the tail risks that were coming up, trade, Brexit, et cetera.
Where does that leave us then?
We're still neutral at that overall market directional level. We think that there's more of the same to come in September in terms of volatility, that we're not going to get a great deal of clarity on corporate earnings, on the path of economic growth. Our base case is still that soft landing. But we need to see more evidence of it, and we need to see the resolution of some of these geopolitical tail risks. We got some good news overnight in China and Hong Kong.
With Hong Kong, it looks like maybe there'll be a peaceful resolution that's reached there. What does that mean in terms of the trade talks between China and the United States?
It takes an external kind of stressor off of the talks. I don't think that the U.S. side wanted to tie in issues around Hong Kong and a perhaps
because we'd have to take a harder line.
Because then we'd have to take a harder line. It reduces some of our freedom of negotiation, and so this opens the door for continued discussion, some opportunity for compromise. At the same time as the president continues to be very aggressive on the trade front, which is why we think there's more volatility to come before we get great clarity on these topics.
Withdrawing the extradition bill is that really what people are in the streets for at this point?
No, they're
I know.
about 100 other things.
I know.
Well, they have
I'm
five.
not sure the genie goes back in.
Yeah, they've got their five.
But
this was
deep
one.
down, there's probably more than five, actually.
Right.
Five.
But deep down,
on paper, but
yeah.
I think there's a lot.
Deep down, there's
Yes,
this overall
that's the point.
Arab Spring type freedom that apparently there's some people from mainland China joining in Hong Kong that live there, and if that spreads, who knows?
From the Chinese perspective, though, I understand from the American perspective, it doesn't put us in a difficult position where we have to take hard lines that we may not want to take.
Indeed.
From the Chinese perspective, though, maybe they are going to be less willing to give on certain fronts because they feel like, okay, we don't have anything that we need to be embarrassed about or where we go from here.
When you go through the five demands, they've addressed one of them is direct democracy.
Right.
That's unlikely to be realized or satisfied. The business community in Hong Kong is looking for an opportunity to return to normal, and I think the thinking here is that this gives the Chinese government a card to say, look, okay, we're trying to get things back to normal. Protesters go back to school.
It's kind of what the business community wants around the globe, in terms of
Indeed.
Brexit, in terms of here with trade talks.
Indeed.